You know how some carriers give you so little for your older busted phone you just end up living with it? I don't think so. Verizon lets you trade in your broken phone for a shiny new one. You break it, we upgrade it.
You dunk it, doggy bone it.
Slam it, wham it, strawberry jam it. We upgrade it.
Get a 5G phone on us with select plans.
Every customer, current, new, or business.
Because everyone deserves better.
And with plans starting at just $35, better costs less than you think.
All right, folks, every Tuesday on the show, our Marketplace segment sponsored by Verizon focuses on the issue of business. You know, folks who do business, who are in business. That's why we have this segment. It's always great to actually have these discussions because what it does is it allows for us to be able to give you some practical insight into how folks are operating in this world when it comes to so many different areas. The nation's largest black-owned single-family rental company in the United States, they've secured a $200 million debt facility from the global investment management firm Barings. Now, last week, the Promise Homes Company announced the transaction representing one of the 10 largest capital raises for a black-owned company over the last decade. Joining me now is John Hope Bryant, the founder and chairman and CEO of Promise Homes. He also, of course, founder of Operation Hope. You've seen John on the show before. Glad to have him back. All right, so let's go right to it. What is this $200 million debt facility? What does it mean? What does it do?
So Ambassador Andrew Young would say to live in a system of free enterprise and not to understand the rules of free enterprise must be the very definition of slavery. We just finished celebrating Dr. King's formal holiday yesterday. And I think if Dr. King was alive today, the work of what I call social justice through an economic lens is the work he'd be doing. That's what this is about, really, beyond the business deal for me, is this is creating a whole new lane and hopefully an expressway and then a freeway of economic opportunity for all of us, because I think the new color is green. But to answer your question, according to Black Enterprise, this transaction, and we didn't know this when we were doing it, we were just doing it. But according to Black Enterprise, this is the largest transaction in real estate involving it's one of the top 10 largest transactions, period, of access to capital. That's really what this is. Regarding an African-American entrepreneur, they would like to say ever, but being conservative, they'll say in the last decade, there's just not a lot of data around it. It's certainly the largest in real estate in recent history. There are other people who are bigger in real estate, Russell and Company, and there's a bunch of folks, not bunch, there's 2 or 3 companies that are larger than me in real estate who are Black. But in single-family residential space, I'm the largest single-family residential rental space. And this access to capital deal is really about, I mean, you get for somebody watching this, the analogy would be you got approved for a credit card. You got $25,000 limit. God bless you. Fantastic. You got approved for a mortgage for a home, $500,000. Fantastic. You got a line of credit approved for, $100,000 for your business. The analogy here is that this is a $200 million debt facility from Barings. So it's a line of credit for $200 million. And I used $85 million of debt and about $45 million of equity to recapitalize my Promise Homes Company, pay off Freddie Mac, pay off City National Bank. I don't mind getting into details if you want to, by the way, Roland. You're the first person I'm going this level of detail on. This was just announced last week. So, you tell me, you ask me what you want, I'll go into as much detail as you want. And paid off my investors. So I ended up as a sole owner of the company and then did a recapitalization and rolled that former company into a joint venture, a new company where I own half of the joint venture, the new Promise Home Company, call that. And we basically going to try to grow the company, what's called 10X. So the company was $150 million worth of real estate. We want to grow that to more like $2 billion worth of real estate. This debt facility does 2 things. Clears the deck on the past and moves us from a small business to an institution. So now it's like talking about Steve Jobs one day and Apple Inc. the next. This is now beyond me. But the most magical part about this, Roland, is the renewable philanthropy underneath this, which is all of the minority vendors that we put in business That's millions of dollars of business every year that gets to grow.
So the thing that a lot of people may not realize is that when we went through the financial crisis in 2008, all we kept hearing about was toxic assets, toxic assets. And the initial idea was to get those toxic assets off the books, and then for the banks to simply, sell them off. Well, what happened? We bailed them out. They used that money to settle their balance sheet. They held onto those homes, and then, of course, after the crisis, we then found out that they were selling off blocks of homes, 25,000, 30,000 to hedge funds, things along those lines. And so people out there who were desiring to own homes, some you couldn't frankly afford to buy them. This is a case where, again, where these companies were created. And so this is a black-owned company owning single-family units that you're renting out to other people.
Yes, so that's the back. So that's really the front end of this. I just answered the back end, which is what's this $200 million debt facility from. Let me give credit to Barings, international finance company. So this wasn't the Homeboy Shopping Network financing this, or Joe's finance company. This is Barings International, and they did it at I don't want to get into too much detail, but let's just say it was very cheap money. So I was treated like any other major borrower. That's the nature of having good credit and having a good credit profile. But the front end of this business is what you said: free financial literacy for every resident. So I own, at this particular watch, 663 homes, rounded up, approximately 700 homes in Atlanta and North Florida. I'm the largest owner of single-family rental homes who's Black in America. I want to grow that, as I've said, to 10,000 homes or more. We're providing affordable housing to people who mostly look like us. So average rent of $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a month for a 1,800 square foot home with no deferred maintenance, front yard, backyard. We can raise your children. For a range of reasons why people rent. We can get into that, but you just mentioned one of them, which was some people lost their homes in economic crisis and are trying to recover. Other people are trying to build that down payment. Some people just like to rent. I think everybody, one of us, should want to own a home, which means I want you out of my house and move into home ownership as soon as you can. That's part of our model. But the first part of this is we've contracted with Operation Hope, which I founded. We pay arm's length, Operation Hope, a partner fee to do free financial literacy counseling to the residents. Get your credit score up. If you raise your credit score to 700, by the way, we'll reduce your rent by 10%, as long as you keep it above 700, because we think you're a lower risk. And we want to reward you. And every time you raise your credit score 25 points, we reward you. You pay on time, we reward you. Now, you got to pay your rent, so it's not a freebie. But, for those who are ride or die with us, we're ride or die for them. Number two, this is my favorite part, Roland. 65% of all of our vendors are minority and women. So plumbing, electrical, lighting, roofing, landscaping. I'm sure I missed some categories. But these are folks who have a high school education, or you can't have a high school education, and some of them are highly educated. Skilled labor, though, who do a good job. They're being paid either a living wage or building wealth through contracts. And I have one vendor I know in particular. I know that one vendor's made $1 million plus on me last year alone. Maybe more than that. I know it's like $100,000 a month. Just one vendor, minority vendor. And that's transformed their business. They're putting people to work. They're sending kids to college. They're paying their dental bill. They're going on vacations to Europe, right? Or wherever, Africa. The third thing we're doing, and the bigger the company gets, Roland, the more we can grow that minority vendor pool. That's what I call renewable philanthropy. The third thing we're doing is moving people from rent to own. So you prove you're a good tenant with us, we'll give you a shot to own a home. You can buy one from us, or we'll help you by we'll sort of vouch for you with a lender. And there's a Wall Street Journal article people can read about how we made people who look like us homeowners. That's, in short, the business model. It's not really complicated. 41% of us own a home, so we got to fix that. Far too many of us are renting uptown in a place that doesn't want us, with a place we can't afford, in an environment that trying to impress people we don't know with money we don't have to buy things we don't need. You should be doing is renting in your own neighborhood, in my view, and trying to find a way to buy the worst house on the best block and come up, just like I did.
Questions for my panel. I'll start with you, Mario.
Man, thank you starting with me because I don't have much time here. Brother Hope, John Hope Bryant, I'm a big fan of your work. Appreciate what you're doing. Very impressed. I read about this deal a couple days ago. And so how did you start going from Operation Hope and your books with civil rights and all those things that you were pushing? How did you get into this real estate game to go from that to over almost 700 homes? Very impressive. But I'd like you to talk about that real succinctly, details, so other people that's listening to not only can they rent from you or maybe buy from you, but maybe we can emulate, become more people like you.
Yeah, well, thank you, and much respect for you too, brother. I want to do a master class with this at some point. So maybe I'll conspire with Roland at some point to try to sort of break this down and get into a level of detail. But for the sake of this brevity of this conversation, I've always been an entrepreneur. I was an entrepreneur before I founded Operation Hope. I started my first business when I was 10 years old. I'll save you the story. People can look at it online. I got a financial literacy course when I was 9 years old. I remember asking the banker, what do you do for a living? Banker was teaching a class on financial literacy. What do you do for a living and how'd you get rich legally? And he said, I'm a banker and I finance entrepreneurs. And I said, I don't know what an entrepreneur is, but if you're financing one and it's legal, I'm going to be one. And that's who I am today. Fast forward, as you know, most millionaires have real estate in their portfolio. There's really three ways to get rich in America. Sorry, to build wealth. Real estate, stock market, and owning your business, and owning your own business. And unfortunately, Black folks are not doing enough of all three of those things. So fast forward, I started this company in 2017, so not that long ago, less than 5 years ago. Again, I'll say the story. I owned a couple homes in LA, then I owned 4 homes in LA. I sold one, bought a home in Atlanta where I thought there was a lot of upside. Then I saw a lot of potential in Atlanta. I got I put some of my money up and my own seed corn, but I also got a couple of my billionaire friends to also back me with what was in a couple $1 million. It was pennies for them. Maybe they just did it out of charity. I don't know, but I took it seriously. And that was like, just a few homes. And I just built my model and proved it and just kept doubling down. And as people were selling no homes in our neighborhood, I was buying. Buy, rehab, and rent. Buy, rehab, and hold. I never sold. And our neighborhoods are gold mines. And the values of my properties went up steadily, but between 2019 and last year, went up 41%. Atlanta went up 41%. Just think about this. Atlanta, a Black neighborhood, went up 41% in appreciation and value in our neighborhoods from 2019 to 2021. And that's really the story. You can make a story, build a business on income, or you can build a business based on wealth appreciation. You build wealth in your sleep. Make money during the day. You build wealth when you sleep. It's compounding. We don't know enough about building wealth. We really obsess too much on what I call lifestyle riches, making money. But those are two different things.
DeMario, thanks for your question. I appreciate it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing, Brother Brian, I'd love to get you down here in Tulsa with our Justice for Greenwood Foundation and things we're trying to do. We have some real estate holdings and some developments we're trying to do. We would love to talk to you about maybe partnering with us.
Absolutely. And I'll show you how I accessed $40 million from Freddie Mac and $15 million from City National Bank. And, I'll break it down how I did it. It's not magical. And it didn't matter. There was no tax. Not only was there no tax that I was Black, actually, I used it to my advantage without any government programs or anything like that. But I used my race as an advantage in my community. My understanding of my community as an advantage, as an asset. And, you have to ask yourself a question when you're watching this. Do you believe in yourself? Is the glass half full or is it half empty? If you think it's half empty, just turn off the TV set. But if you believe it's half full, then you need to say to yourself, how can being Black and knowing my neighborhood and being astute and focused and never getting out, how can that be an asset? Our neighborhood is undervalued. An inner city in France is called Paris. An inner city in the UK is called London. Only in America do we throw away inner cities and try to move out of them, and everybody else is moving into them.
All right, Teresa, your question.
Yes, absolutely. I am just taken back. I was actually looking at your website for a little bit more detail. I'm here in the city of Philadelphia, and, the amount of properties that are going up either for share sale or some that, where affordable housing is no longer the language of the land. in terms of, the gentrification and what's happening here. Wondering, one, if you are interested in coming to Philadelphia, and then two, definitely when you get that masterclass up and running, please, let me know for that. But really particularly interested on the market of how are you maybe helping individuals who may be looking at, some of the stuff that's going on through share sales right now.
Yeah, so I don't want to get into shared anything on this short conversation. It's a great concept, but keep in mind, nobody washes rental cars. Keep in mind that if you want to distribute money like a socialist, you first collect it like a capitalist, and no one's going to care about your asset more than you. I'd much rather you if somebody's watching this and they make $35,000, they have 3 children. The government owes you, if you ever file for an EITC, government owes you about $18,000. Combine that with a child tax credit from the federal government under this new stimulus package is $9,000. You've got $30,000. Take that $30,000, put it as a down payment. Take $15,000, buy a rehab home in Philadelphia, a tear down home, buy it for almost next to nothing. Get a construction loan to rehab it. Put $15,000, $20,000. Put $5,000 in a reserve account, and you'll now end up with an asset worth, I'm guessing, $70,000 to $100,000, and then rent it out, and then let that stabilize for a minute, and then use the equity from that one to then buy a second one. And then once you've done that 3 times, you've got sustainability, and that real estate will only go up in value. Real estate has never gone down. Somebody's going to watch this and go, John, you're wrong. That's actually not true. I'm not wrong. Here's what's happened. This is what real estate's done. Stock market too. It's gone up. Then there's a crisis. It dips. What do black folks do? We sell on the dip. And then what happens? It then corrects above the line every time. Then another crisis, 10, 20 years later, it goes down. What do? We sell on the dip. We get all wigged out. Somebody else buys it and goes up to the next level. We need to buy, rent, and hold. And I just gave you an example of how somebody making $35,000 can do that. And go to Operation Hope, get your credit score up, because we're raising credit scores 120 points in 24 months. We do that for free. So that's a little business plan right there for somebody not even as sophisticated as you. So yeah, shared this, shared that's all cool. I'd much rather you do something on your own where you control the hustle and you control the outcome, and then partner with somebody else in time.
All right. Mustafa, final question for John Hope Bryant.
Yes, Brother Brian, it's always inspirational and aspirational every time that you come on. As you talked about, many of the adults who go through the program and learn, a number of different types of things, is there also opportunities for younger people also on that journey?
Absolutely. We've got Hope Business in a Box Academy. I'm now mixing metaphors now. This is Operation Hope, my nonprofit. We put thousands of young people in business through the 1 Million Black Business Initiative as well. You can go and watch prior shows with me and Roland about 1MBB and our Hope Business in a Box Academies, where we're putting kids that were my age coming up, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years old in business. And there's hundreds of stories and videos people can watch on young people starting businesses and owning real estate. We should start early. Look, you farm club, if you're in Canada, they'll tell you who the NHL players, hockey league players are in elementary school, the pros, because they identify them. Where do we find our football players, our basketball players? We farm club them in middle school. And then by the time they get to college, they're already destined for the pros. What do we do with entrepreneurs, small business owners, real estate investors, securities and lawyers? Nothing. There's no farm club system in our neighborhood. Now, we are experts at social justice. We'll tell you discrimination, black people, a mile away. We'll tell you police brutality 5 miles away. But we can identify a stock or a bond or real estate investment in our own neighborhood the way we should. This has to become the new movement. Social justice through an economic lens that starts early, as you said, with young people.
All right. John Hope Bryant, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so very much. Good luck with it. And like I keep saying over and over again, people love saying, hey, we need more black-owned businesses. I say, no, we need black businesses with capacity, building capacity.
This is only the beginning, Roland, just like with what you're doing with your content, only the beginning.
All right. John, thanks a lot.
God bless you.
Folks, Black Start Network is here.
Oh, no punches. I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, We have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?